Jensen's Illini have lost 7 games in a row to Indiana, and Lou told us what his team has to do to win today.
In order to win the game today, I think it's very important we play excellent defense and control the boards. Indiana's a great shooting ball club. We must do a good job defending them. They're one of the top shooting teams in the nation, and if we can't defend them, we can't beat them.
Indiana and Illinois in a game that could decide the Big Ten championship.
Today's game between the Indiana Hoosiers and the Illinois Fighting Illini is sponsored by Chevrolet. America's on the move, and Chevrolet is supplying the wheels. Chevrolet and you taking charge. Miller High Life, welcome to Miller time. And by Sentry, for all your insurance needs, you can count on your local Sentry agent where all's well, even when all isn't.
They are jam-packed in Assembly Hall in Champaign. 10th-ranked Illinois playing host to the Hoosiers of Indiana. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Bender. Indiana's a game back in the Big Ten race. They're a team that really tightened things up with a win over Purdue Wednesday night. They're seeking their 8th Big Ten title in the 13 years that Bobby Knight has been in Bloomington. Illinois, on the other hand, they are a half game behind league-leading Purdue. They have not won a Big Ten title in 21 years. They've been a very surprising team rebuilding. With me is Billy Packer. Billy.
Gary, before you start, I got to say, the first time I ever saw a team get psyched up with the Blues Brothers music. Something special here in the Big Ten.
You know, Indiana's an outstanding shooting team, but it's been a team that's mystified Bobby Knight.
Well, Bobby is a guy, certainly is a great technical basketball coach, and he feels that he understands his ball club. But this year, they've lost games that he thought he was going to win, and they've won some games that he thought maybe were on the fence a little bit. That not only mystifies him, it angers him, and when he's angered, that's trouble.
You don't want to get in the way. Illinois lost Derek Harper to the pros, Anthony Welch to injuries. Boy, they've come on, though.
They really have. It's an extremely young team, but they rebound very well, although they don't have exceptional size. They play with 3 guards an awful lot of times. This is one of the great young teams in America.
Big Ten basketball from Assembly Hall. The Illini have lost 3 in a row to Indiana here. They want to end that today as the Big Ten title chase is on. Starting lineups. Indiana with their 16th different starting lineup. Todd Meyer, a freshman, will go. Marty Simmons, who has not started for some time at the other forwards. Lopp, Alford, and Dockich, who played so well in that game against Purdue Wednesday. Illinois, this is the familiar 5. Altenberger, Winters, Montgomery, Richardson, and then Bruce Douglas, who leads the Big Ten in steal. And the Big Ten crew, Bob Showalter, Ralph Rosser, and Ted Hillary. There will be no shot clock for this game today. Earlier this year, these two teams went into overtime, and Indiana won it in Bloomington 73-68. Uwe Blopp at 7'2". The junior from Munich, Germany, will be going up against Ephraim Winters, 6'9", a sophomore.
You know, Gary, when you look out at Big Ten basketball teams, I always look below the waist. They've got to have the most powerful legs of any league in the country. All the kids look like they could be running backs or fullbacks in football.
The reason we're having a delay here is some debris on the floor, being sure everything is well attended to before we get underway. Billy, this is a war because there's no postseason Big Ten tournament.
That's right. The Pac-10 and the Big Ten, among 2 leagues, do not have postseason tournaments, so everything on the line. We saw that game yesterday, Louisville-Memphis State. They still knew they had a second chance with the postseason tournament. In the Big Ten, there's no second chance. It's on the line right now.
Showalter ready to put the ball in the air, and they missed it. They'll have to redo it. Kind of shows you how they're ready to play, huh?
They're banging around already.
This is going to be Montgomery. Big George coming up with it now for the Fighting Illini. 2 very young ball clubs.
Marty Simmons headed in the other direction. You're going to see man-to-man defense at its toughest. Straight man-to-man by Indiana. Everybody packing in the middle when they're away from the ball.
Richardson, the only starting senior. Montgomery, the junior. Altenberger, who had 23 points in the first game against Indiana. Douglas.
Douglas is not a great range shooter, but from 16, 18 feet, he can shoot as well as anybody, and he knows how to keep that shot at the right distance.
Here is Dockich, who he protects the ball very well, sees the whole floor. Alford. Rebound by Altenberger. Bruce Douglas, the sophomore from Quincy, Illinois. First in the Big Ten in steals, second in assists.
Oh, good screen inside. Left Douglas wide open.
Rebound by Winters and kicked back out to Montgomery.
Alford has hurt his ankle. He's limping pretty severely right now.
They can ill afford to lose the freshman who is leading the nation in free throw percentage.
Tough kid, though.
He's shaking it off a little bit. He's trying to stay with Douglas. Look at him grimace out there at the top of the circle.
He's still wincing pretty hard.
Altenberger, 6'4" out of Peoria, an excellent outside shooter.
Notice how Indiana is allowing the ball to be rotated on the outside, but really playing tough down inside because they want to shut off that powerful inside game with Winters and Montgomery.
Very good patience now by the Fighting Illini. Marty Simmons, who is an Illinois native from Lawrenceville, a few miles away, starting this game. You know that had to be important to him. Altenberger misses, and Meyer had it, lost it. George Montgomery.
Excellent block out by Meyer. He just lost the handle on the ball.
Meyer, one of the three freshmen starting in this lineup for Indiana. Alford looks all right now.
Yeah, he does. A lot of guys would pull up lame right there and not run that little twist off. And as Bobby Knight pointed out yesterday, he is really a tough kid. He doesn't know why he's tough, but he really is.
He's really surprising him. And Marty Simmons has been fouled by Bruce Douglas. First foul of the game. Douglas, a very heady performer. He is the leader of this team, the glue, just the sophomore.
Gary has great hands and anticipation, and he's one of the best stealers of the basketball in collegiate basketball. Holds records here already in his sophomore year at Illinois. Surprisingly, he picked up a foul there.
Here is Simmons, 6'5". He was Mr. Basketball in Illinois last year. Dockich back to Simmons. Boy, they're playing tough defense.
The defensive philosophies of these two teams are almost a mirror image of each other. Nice pass.
Simmons with a good fake, and he's going to be fouled. You can take your choice there. He had about three guys. They're going to give the foul to Altenberger.
You see Simmons, they're screaming at Indiana being in the lane a lot, and Simmons gets a good catch on the inside, makes the good pump fake, puts the ball down, another pump fake without moving his hands, and he gets the foul. And Gary, did you say they call on Altenberger?
They did.
Got a little piece of the ball as well as the arm there.
Simmons will have 2 free throws coming. He shoots 68%. Both these teams, Billy, are excellent free throw shooting teams. Indiana, 72%.
They lead this league, or they're up in the top of the league along with Purdue for a couple of reasons. They're a good free throw shooting team. They have excellent shot selection, and they play tough defense, holding the opponents down inside 44% field goal percentage-wise.
Let's look at the defense.
Now you'll see how everybody from Indiana, when they're not guarding the man with the ball, they have their feet inside the blue area there. They really are tough away from the ball.
There's a foul on Dan Dockich trying to stay with 6'9" Winters. Winters had his best game of his career against Ohio State on Thursday. He had 24 points and 14 rebounds. There's Lou Henson. You mentioned his defensive philosophy. He's a very even keel guy, not too excitable. His team plays with that kind of temperament.
He's been successful at every level, whether he be in high school, Hardin Simmons down New Mexico State, or right here at Illinois. Been successful every place.
Illinois with a 2-point lead. Montgomery, boy, block, bounced off of him, no whistle though.
That's good help from the weak side. He didn't gain any advantage.
Douglas into Winters. Winters really drawing traffic inside on him.
Now, Meyer helped out, so his man was wide open, but Illinois couldn't swing the ball fast enough over to Montgomery.
Richardson electing to shoot. He's a good shooter. He doesn't shoot very much. Douglas lost it. Meyer's got it. Illinois 4, Indiana 2. 16:44 to go in this first half. Blopp has a tough time catching the ball, and we're going to have a foul on Ube. And really, if there's one thing that Blopp has trouble with, that's catching the ball.
You can see Bobby Knight. I turned and looked at Bobby Knight the minute that Ube Blopp lost the handle on that pass. He just put his head straight down. Now, this is an excellent pass into Blopp. Properly thrown on the perfect side. Blopp just does not go move over with his feet to catch the ball properly, and he loses it.
I asked you what you'd do if you had a problem like that. You said you'd have him practice catching ping pong balls.
Well, he needs to soften up his hands to get his feet moving a little bit.
Interesting theory.
And obviously, if you see Indiana practice, they work on it continuously and moving those feet and being in a position to make the catch.
The Illini, who have lost 7 in a row to Indiana, 3 straight here in Assembly Hall with a 2-point lead, and that one was thrown away. Nope, it was touched by Indiana.
Gary, you're not going to get inside play against an Indiana team very often, and Illinois could be looking to make some outside perimeter jump shots by setting some screens on the guy that has the man guard with the ball. They're just not going to let you have that easy dump on the inside.
Winters inside power game. He's going to have a tough time getting open. Here's Richardson.
Here's a jump shot. You've got to take some jump shots to loosen them up on the inside. Winters threw an elbow after it was all over.
And Winters picked up the foul. Richardson has only shot the ball an average of 4 times a game, but he shoots extremely well. So we're going to have a timeout with 16 minutes to go in this first half. Illini and Lou Ensign with a 4-point lead. A preview of America's Downhill from Aspen, Colorado, and then Billy and I will talk about the teams on the fence. A week from today, the pairings will go out.
Very good full court pressure by Illinois, not guarding the man taking the ball out of bounds, and they stay in that man-to-man. Here comes the trap. Nice
Richardson pulls it off.
That's a super job.
And wait a minute. Back court.
Bobby Knight really made the call. He came off over the bench in a hurry. Richardson took the ball with him when he went back court. Okay, watch this right here. A great trap. Richardson was back court before. Good call by Bobby Knight on the official, but that was a tremendous trap by Richardson. He came all the way across the court to pick it up.
Alford didn't know what hit him. Artie Simmons off to Steve Alford. 6-2. The Illini with the lead. Dockage, boy, they're packing it inside. Flop working hard to get open.
Altenberger all over Alford.
Here's Marty Simmons. That'll give him some confidence.
Beautiful looking jump shot.
He has 4 points, all 4 of Indiana's.
You don't see any bad techniques on the part of either of these ball clubs in regard to jump shooting. We haven't seen Winters take a jump shot yet, but he can put it up properly also.
2 coaches who have stood the test of time playing the good defense.
Winters put an elbow right through Myers' face that time when he crowded him a little bit.
This is the Big Ten, Billy. They are physical.
Excellent patience, even though these teams are extremely young. Just about everybody coming back on both squads, not only starting lineups, but all teams.
Todd Myers really playing Ephraim Winters tight. He's been on him under his chin the whole time.
Summer's got to take that shot when he comes out. It's open.
There's the deflection. Dockage on Altenberger.
Super defense.
There's just nothing there, is there?
Yep. See, but the offense, Gary's got him packed on inside 15 feet. Nobody pulling back out to take a jump shot.
There's Douglas. Bruce Douglas bumps it up to a 4-point lead. Douglas with 4.
Douglas, one of those Bobby Knight's looking at for a backcourt player in the Olympics because he wants some size back there.
His own guy, Alford, might be considered also.
Illinois extends their defense out a little farther. They're playing at 16 to 18 feet with a walk.
Yes, it is. And as we mentioned, Indiana, an excellent shooting team. In the 3 games that they've lost this year, they shot under 51%. They're not a good rebounding club, so they need that good shooting percentage. But that's 3 turnovers against Bobby Knight's team.
Hey, you mentioned Lou Henson said, if we can stop and cut down on their shooting proficiency, we can beat the team. If they can't defend them, they can't win.
8-4, the Illini. Douglas again.
See that, Gary? The jump shot is there because everybody from Indiana is packed back inside. They wouldn't expect Douglas to take one from quite that distance.
Artie Simmons a little frustrated that time. Got some help from Alford. Indiana's taken only 2 shots in this game. There's a deflection. Douglas.
Myers telegraphed that pass. Lob was wide open. Now, every time Illinois has the ball, the band plays. You know, just the opposite of what you'd figure, but I guess they're used to it. Any team that would open up with the Blues Brothers would be ready.
Winters was able to get breathing room from Meyer, and he used it.
There's the jump shooting, Gary. Beyond 15, 18 feet, it's going to be there.
Illinois at home leading 12-4, and they have the crowd into this game now. They needed that one. Alford from the corner.
Well, we showed Simmons hitting the jumper from a little farther out than that, but between the two of them, they've got great form.
It's interesting, a freshman with the courage to take a very important shot in the early going and able to get it to go in. That's the way he's played all year. Tough. He's surprised Bobby with his performance, and this is his first year. Altenberger.
Well, it's amazing to see Illinois adjust so quickly to the defense. Everybody used to playing Indiana in this league, but realizing nothing's inside, so they're softening them up with good jump shots outside.
Altenberger in that first game is 11 of 16 against Indiana. Blopp is fouled. Montgomery is the guilty party. That's That's his first third-team foul against Illinois.
Probably a pretty good move. You don't want to give Ube the easy shot inside. You'll see him grab this one. He gets good position, pushes Montgomery off with one hand, but it's a good idea to foul him inside. Only a 61% free throw shooter.
So Ube Blop, who played at Effingham High School in Illinois. He was an exchange student. Ended up with Bobby Knight. Had his best game ever Wednesday against Purdue. Oh, that's not close.
Well, would you rather give up the dunk or let him shoot an air ball?
Well, as far as shooting percentages, he's a 61% free throw shooter, which is not bad, but he gets the second one.
Oh, he is hot with himself. Red in the face, just angry at himself for shooting that air ball. Look at his intensity. It's unbelievable.
And that's the guy that Bobby says maybe isn't as aggressive as he'd like.
Said it's not that important to him in life to always be a winner.
Boy, he doesn't look like it right now. His red hair and red face are not going pretty well together. Illinois has hit 4 in a row. 7 of 10. There's Douglas, 5 in a row.
Now, what Douglas is doing, they're trying to clear it out for him, and he's shooting right over the top of the smaller defender.
He has half of Illinois' points. They lead it 16-7. Stu Robinson, number 22, into the game. He's coming off that strong performance against Purdue. A career-high 22 points. And here he is with the ball. Meyer wide open.
Got some good bounce in that shot, but it was nice to see Meyer look to take that jump shot because he was wide open.
Todd Meyer's been working hard on his shooting. Bobby Knight said that he had not practiced that much at Oshkosh, Wisconsin, where he went to high school.
There's a double low post set up by Illinois. And again, look at nice clear out for Douglas.
They've hit 5 in a row. Altenberger,
Tough shot.
and he's fouled. They got a piece of him, and it'll be blocked.
Altenberger's dad played at Illinois. He's very versatile in the fact that he can play the second guard position and move up and play the small forward, which he had to do when Welch was out for the season. A good, steady ball player, takes the toughest defensive assignment, does a good job at offense.
Blocked with his second personal foul. Third team foul now against Indiana. Altenberger shoots 71% from the line. The thing they like about Altenberger is you said he's a swing man, but he's not afraid to get on the floor. He will go after any loose ball. A very tough kid. And they've gotten that from his dad, as you mentioned, played here in Illinois from 55 to 57. Fans thinking there was a turnover and a what? And there was.
Double dribble situation. And Bobby Knight realizes that the trail official didn't see it.
Bobby Knight tries to steady his club at the 11-minute mark. $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. Billy, there's a couple of very interesting statistics in the first almost 11 minutes of play. Indiana's taken only 4 shots, 3 of 4. Illinois has taken 11, but one reason Indiana hasn't shot the ball very many times, they have 5 turnovers.
Right. Instead of the Chevy MVP today, let's call him the Chevy Warrior of the day. Huh? This is really as intense a defensive battle as you'll see in the collegiate level.
Bruce Douglas, who's played so well in the early going with 8 points, and Stu Robinson picking him up.
Douglas has a big height advantage over Robinson, but Robinson's got those quick feet.
There's backdoor to Winters, and a foul will go on Todd Meyer. No, they're going to call on Ephraim.
I believe so, pushing off to get to the position.
Oh, and Lou Henson is hot.
There was some indecision there as to who committed the foul. The official wasn't very demonstrative. That was not really a good pass selection to throw the ball that far because Winters really didn't have good position.
Winters with his first foul. 17-9, Illinois with the lead. Indiana's made one change. This is the guy, Robinson.
Simmons had good position on Altenberger that time, didn't get the ball.
There's Marty Simmons. He hit one from that area earlier. There's Block broken up that time. Nice job by Winters, but it'll be the Hoosiers basketball.
Edward Winters really is a quick leaper on the inside. He's only 6'8", but plays a lot taller than that.
Marty Simmons will bring it in to Todd Meyer. Here's Robinson. He hit 8 of 9 shots from the field against Purdue Wednesday.
Richardson matches up well with him, though. He's got good quickness.
Again, both teams showing patience, and that's what he did at Lafayette Wednesday night.
Have to take some jump shots, but these teams aren't giving up anything inside.
Indiana now fighting their way back into this, trailing by 6. Richardson, who redshirted last year because he felt he wouldn't get enough playing time, and they're glad he stayed around for his 5th year. We're going to have a foul on Montgomery.
In that position, came over from the weak side, banked right into Marty Simmons.
Montgomery will not back off from anybody. They called him the enforcer. He's 6'8", the 2nd leading rebounder in the Big Ten. That's his
Give
second
Todd
foul.
Meyer some credit on that last defensive play with Winters, because he had that hand right in his face. Halftime, Gary, on the fence, huh?
It's going to be so interesting. A week from today, Billy, you'll be in New York. I'll be in Kansas City with Dave Gavitt and his tournament committee as they announce the pairings, and a new man has come in. The new man in is Tom Schaefer, number 11, 6'7" freshman.
For the moment, it's Scott Altenberger over on Robinson.
Alford creating something inside, but Block missed the shot.
Kind of an easy shot for him, too.
Boy, it's a good job by Alford at penetrating, dishing it off. Boy, Winters, he gets the ball, and he has 2 men on him instantly.
You know, the pass would be there when the ball goes, as you mentioned, Gary, into Winters or to Montgomery, particularly Winters, though. The man from the weak side immediately comes over and double teams. If he would just drop that ball back to the weak side, he'd have a man wide open.
Marty Simmons commits the foul, sending Altenberger to the line. First foul on Marty Simmons. They call him the Mule. He's such a strong guy. Looks like a tight end, and what a high school career he had.
Well, his stats have really dropped off from preseason play as compared to the Big Ten play, but anybody that could be the MVP against Kentucky in Rupp Arena, got to be some kind of player.
Not only that, he had a 30-point game against Wisconsin earlier this year, but he's had to learn to play quicker.
Robinson's quickness has really helped Indiana since he's gotten the ball game. As opposed to Dockage, he can do some things to create offense by himself.
Well, he's playing with confidence, too, coming off of that big performance against Purdue. Lob, Montgomery chests him out. Alford with a shot.
That's got to go.
Winners of the rebound.
Surprised Alford didn't hit that one. That's one of the most wide open shots he's getting today.
Douglas, since Robinson's come in, hasn't had that shot out in front.
Robinson quick enough to stay with him. Somebody's got to come out and meet the ball. 5-second count.
There's where he was able to get the shot off earlier, but not against Stu Robinson here. Kick back to Altenberger.
That's exactly what I was talking about a second ago, Gary. When the ball goes on into Winters, people have to be open because they're trying to double team him from the weak side.
Altenberger with 6 points, and oh, was that a tough way to pick up a foul. Altenberger ran into the screen of Blob.
Excellent call because Uwe Blob had position. Hey! Had given a step as a screener. Bob, he didn't run through the screen. He didn't run through the screen. Watch this. Boom. No, he didn't run through the screen.
He hit him with the
reason he
kneecap.
didn't run through the screen is because the man knocked him right in his back. It was Uwe Blob.
He hit him at about his kneecaps, too.
That's a good call.
At the line, shooting 61%.
In a screening situation, Gary, you got to give time and distance. Uwe Blob gave both.
Well, he's missed a couple from the free throw line.
Bobby Knight buries his head.
There's your score, Illinois with the lead.
Oh, nice move by Altenberger. Made the cut as if he was going under the basket and came right back out.
That was a reach around by Meyer, and then Winters touched it last. Good defense by Todd Meyer, and Indiana has the basketball. We're going to have highlights of this game, and Maryland defeating Virginia.
They're really coming on strong here late in the game, late in the year.
That is DePaul's final road game against Detroit, and now Alford hits. He is third in the Big Ten in field goal percentage, and he has 4 points. 7-point lead now for Illinois.
And still can't get anything inside to Winters. Meyer really doing a job on him. You notice how Winters holds the ball over his head. If he'd sit down a little bit, maybe he'd go around Meyer.
Schaefer misses. Montgomery's got it. He's fouled from behind by Todd Meyer. That's Montgomery's game. Go in there and root people out. Not back off from anybody.
And again, Uwe Blob had the ball in his hand, and it just got out of his grasp. And when it did, Indiana picks up the foul.
Todd Meyer with his first personal. Time is out. 7:29 to go in this first half. Game America's downhill that was postponed yesterday in Aspen, Colorado. The Phoenix International 10K. Alberto Salazar, the defending champion, will be in that race. And from Norway, we have World Sprint Speed Skating Championships.
Gary, you've got a substitution now. Uwe Blab out of the game. Now, he had 2 fouls on him, but I don't believe he came out of the game because of the fouls. I believe he came out of the game because he's not catching the ball the way Bobby Knight wants. So he's got Thomas in the game now.
Darryl Thomas, number 24. Also coming in now for Illinois is Scott Mentz, a 6'9" sophomore from Kankakee, Illinois, as they give Montgomery a breather.
It's Thomas on winners. Let's see if he does as good a job as Meyer did.
Illinois shooting 64%, and that adds to that total. Douglas in double figures with 10.
When you take a look at it, Indiana's taken away the inside game, but Illinois shooting those jumpers very well from the outside.
They shot well against Indiana in that overtime loss from the outside in the first game.
Well, Illinois has had a lot of experience in overtime. They've been in 4 of them this year. 1 a 4-bagger and 1 a double overtime.
To Robinson. Tough down by Mentz, who just checked in. 22-13. Illinois, 6 minutes, 40 seconds to go until halftime.
Yeah, when you watch these 2 teams play, you really have to admire the job Gene Katie's done at Purdue. To think he's even with these 2 clubs, huh?
Winters missed the shot. Mentz is there.
Indiana can't do anything right catching that ball.
Mentz from a small school. He played in Class A, but he started to elevate his game to big-time standards. The biggest lead of the game now for Illinois.
See if Robinson keeps it in the offense. He had a tendency maybe to get a little bit frayed, particularly on that last jumper. It's a very difficult shot.
Illinois really dominating the boards. They lead in rebounding 9-2 right now, and we're going to have a traveling call on Alford. 6 turnovers against Indiana.
Pretty good head fake. I didn't see the walk on the plate. What you had was Alford in shooting position, still had his dribble left, but he couldn't go ahead and get up the shot.
Now Blopp has come back in. Darryl Thomas leads, so Bobby didn't keep his 7-2 center out of there very long.
Now Illinois can really be patient. I think all the fans realize no clock in the Big Ten. Illinois going to make sure they get some good shots.
Douglas, oh, is he hot?
What he's doing, Gary, he's shooting right over the smaller guards.
12 points for Douglas. He's coming off of a 25-point game against Ohio State.
Before that, everybody talking about him being a great defender, ball handler, and stealer of the pass.
Here's a good-looking shot.
Yep.
Into Blopp, and Mentz reaches in and commits the foul. Now that's some depth that they have. Mentz will come in and hold his own until Montgomery can get rested.
That's an excellent move by Lou Henson because he brings Mentz in. Mentz has, you don't worry about him picking up the fouls. You get a chance to rest Montgomery and keep him out of foul trouble.
Lou Henson, who took a Final Four team, New Mexico State.
You can hear the fans now why it's tough to play on the road. They're all screaming air ball.
Blopp, 1 of 3 from the line. He has only 1 point.
That's a way to silence the crowd.
That'll do it. Uwe Blopp. Bobby Knight has said that he really hasn't grown up with the same type of competitiveness that you have here in the United States. And it's been a very difficult struggle to get that into his being.
Now, he can be on the West German Olympic team, which is still alive for an Olympic berth. They'll be in those European playoffs.
But they have Belp and Shrimp in there, too.
That's right. And that young 7'2" player that a lot of people in the United States trying to recruit is just in high school. Oh, what a push-off by Mentz. Bobby Knight just irate over there.
He is working the official.
Boy, Mentz looking to set some screens down there to hurt people.
Here's the man you were talking about. Partial winners.
Perfect play, Gary. Indiana double teaming from the weak side. When you get the ball, just turn and fire it away to the opposite side. Excellent play.
Winters has been relatively quiet, now with 4 points.
Boy, Mentz is pushing Uwe Blab all over the court on the inside.
Well, I guess, and they just called a foul on him. That's got to come. He can't continue that way.
Now, Lou Henson's upset, but he's screaming no. Good job by our sound man over there. He's getting it all.
That is ridiculous. thousands right now.
If Lou Henson has to sneeze, our sound man's going to have the mic right there to catch it.
This is an amazing stat. Indiana has only 9 shots in the first 15.5 minutes. Again, showing you how tough it is to get the ball inside and the turnovers.
That's all right by Mency, moving Blob around on the inside, keeping him physical, distracting him a little bit. And again, you got Montgomery on the bench. He can pick up fouls later.
He cuts it to 11 on that rebound. Metz pushed.
Yep, that time he got Todd Meyer. And he's looking to lay it on somebody.
4.5 minutes to go in this first half.
There's
double team.
There was an example. Now the ball goes cross court to Shaver. He got the jump shot.
Rebound, Marty Simmons. Alford having a tough time shaking Altenberger.
Oh, great defense by Altenberg. Did not go for the reverse. He is some defensive player. He sits right down there, looks Alford right in the chest.
Well, they remember Alford had 29 points against him in the first game. Another turnover.
Nice pass.
Schaefer has missed 2 shots. Meyer there with a rebound. Stu Robinson, he'd like to run it a little bit. He can move it, not able to drop this one.
Indiana really not a running ball club. Very seldom will you see Indiana get in a fast break situation. It's a very controlled offense. Bruce, 33.
Stu Robinson, the thing that Bobby said about him, is an instinctive player. He will adjust to what's out there, and that time he picked up the tempo a little bit. Schaefer, the freshman.
Throw it opposite.
Oh, Mentz. I don't think that's the guy they want taking that shot.
They're throwing it out opposite to men that aren't the shooters.
Robinson, Alford, that was a tough shot. He used good body control.
So soft.
6 points for Steve. It's 28-19, Illinois.
Mentz looks like he's getting a little tired out there right now.
He should. He's been in a wrestling match. But he might have Blop a little tired, too.
Montgomery getting up off the bench to come back in.
That looks like he is tired.
He's tired. When you're tired, you lose some concentration.
Trying to back Blop up, try to position himself inside.
Altenberger picked up his dribble a long way from the basket. Illinois right now getting away from their game a little bit.
Boy, Douglas just continues to be red hot. He has 14.
Gary, that was a big basket because the team looked like they're getting a little tired. They're a little out of their offense, and Douglas hits it on an individual move.
Douglas has hit 7 of 9 as Illinois is leading. Over Virginia, and Bill Johnson, America's downhill. He'll be racing today. We'll have a preview, and then the teams on the fence. And some teams a little nervous right now as whether they're going to get into the NCAA tourney. And there's an interesting shot. As you see Illinois with the advantage. Billy, Indiana has taken only 11 shots in the first 17.5 minutes of this game.
And when you take the shots taken, 7 turnovers, which is almost equal the number of possessions that they've had down the court. That's not what Bobby Knight would want, but you got to credit the Illinois defense. They have really been playing tough.
Robinson, Simmons, Alford, Meyer, and Blop in the lineup now for the Hoosiers.
Richardson back in the game. Oh, that's some shot. When you can put it up right in a man's face. Alford's got quite a repertoire of offensive moves. He can go inside. He's got the long jumper. Doesn't mind shooting it in the pack.
He has 8 points, cuts it to 9. Look at Douglas handle the ball. Robinson went up prematurely on him, and the rebound. Meyer had it for a moment. Altenberger.
That is the 3rd time today that Indiana had their hands on the ball, and a defensive rebound, lost it, and Illinois turned it into a basket.
That's the reason Altenberger at 6'4" can play it forward. He is really aggressive in there.
He's got Montgomery behind Blob now. If Indiana can get that ball into him. There he is.
That hook that he's worked on, he's really improved that phase.
Montgomery got caught behind him just before that. Good move by Indiana to fire it right inside.
Blop with 7 points. You saw that graphic a moment ago. Douglas is doing as well in some ways as the entire Indiana team is shooting from the field.
Let's see if Illinois pulls the ball out a little bit. Got right at a minute to go, and at the end of the first half here, they can afford to be very patient. No sense worrying about getting any more points. Go in with a nice lead.
Boy, they have 2 big guys in there now, and Montgomery and Mentz. They take up a lot of room inside.
My opinion, Illinois would be smart to hold it for the last shot, Gary. They get a 9-point lead. You can go in with a double-figure lead. Why let Indiana get the ball back?
We have 40 seconds left in this first half.
And without the clock, you can afford to do it. Indiana, many times this year, has held the ball for long periods of time when they got a lead. One shot, who do you think? Bruce Douglas on it.
Boy, I would go with him, as hot as he's been. Was he 7 of 12, I think, for the ball game.
Down to 17 seconds. If you can get it back in his hands with 9, good lob.
Montgomery just couldn't get it in. Now Indiana has time to get a shot off. Alford in trouble, and a foul, and it's going to go on Todd Meyer.
And still 5 seconds to go, so they've got a chance to get off something good.
That's the second on the 6'8" freshman.
Meyer just kind of got caught at the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, he was not trying to set a screen.
Trying to avoid his teammate.
Hey, I didn't realize they had a foul shot out of that.
That's 6 team fouls. Now, wait a minute. I don't think they do.
No, I don't believe so. That was good.
Our statistician, Mike Swanson, says, hey, get them off the line, and they're going to do it.
Hey, he's usually ahead of everybody else in regard to what's that.
Stay set. Stay right where you're at.
You get that ball in Douglas' hands, let him go to the basket.
5 seconds, you see it. Montgomery against Blopp, and he fouled him, and that's 3. And, oh, they're going to call a charge. That's 3 on Montgomery.
I don't think that's a good decision by Illinois. You try to get the ball in the hands of Douglas. Montgomery, a guy you don't want putting that ball on the floor. No foul shot coming up.
What a swing that is, Billy. That could have been 3 on Blopp. Instead, it's 3 on Montgomery. 2 seconds. Simmons. Oh, was that close? It's not a happy partisan crowd here at the end of this first half. Montgomery picking up his 3rd foul, but the Illini with the lead, 32-23. NCAA basketball will continue after this word from your local station.
Next weekend.
A great tradition here at this Big Ten school. The NCAA tournament selection takes place next Saturday, and some teams are almost assured of being in. Others might or might not make it. These borderline teams are what we call on the fence, waiting for the magic word, and one such team is Villanova. Weber State, Virginia Tech, they lost to Florida State.
They've had some very damaging losses of late. That one to South Carolina definitely hurt them without question, and the one to Richmond.
Alabama chasing, of course, Auburn and Kentucky all year long. New Mexico, Gary Colson's had a very good year.
Had an excellent year. Of course, he's got that win on the road at Pauley that'll help him a great deal.
Kansas second in the Big 8. They pushed Oklahoma into overtime a week ago. And Dayton, they had a win over DePaul. It was very big. Also Notre Dame.
Big win over Notre Dame. And, you know, I mentioned the win at Pauley. UCLA is a team that we all kind of wrote off. But the way they played this past weekend with 2 wins over Washington and Washington State, I think they're back on the fence again.
Well, a week from today, we'll be announcing those pairings from Kansas City. Billy will be in New York with Brent. I'll be with Dave Abbott and his tournament committee. NCAA basketball will continue after this word from your local station.
Today's game between Indiana and Illinois is sponsored by Mazda and the full line of sophisticated Mazda products. Budweiser, for all you do, this Bud's for you. And by Xerox, managing information around the office and around the world.
Illinois is led by as many as 11 of the first half, now by 9. And we want to go to our CBS shot chart. And, Billy, we wanted to pick up 2 different things. First, we wanted to see the inside game of Illinois, Montgomery and Winters.
Well, anytime you play against Indiana, of course, you try to go inside, but they take away your inside game very well. And we can take a look down here. Ephraim Winters and Montgomery have had very little scoring opportunities on the inside. You can see they average 20 shots a game between the 2 of them normally. They've only gotten off 6 shots today, won that last second shot situation. So really only 5. So Indiana's cut that game off on the inside. But what that did, it opened up the outside. And what we had for Illinois, they adjusted very well and took some good outside shots, led by Bruce Douglas for 7 for 10. On the other end, Gary, take a look at Indiana. You have Indiana, a team that has great shot selection, and they've had great shot selection today. They're shooting 8 for 14, 57%. The only problem is they're not getting off enough shots because they've been turning the ball over a lot, and a lot of that is due to the great defense by Illinois.
Well, they've almost taken as many shots, again, as many shots as Indiana, 27 to 14. Their shooting percentages are about the same, 57 and 56. The turnovers, Indiana's had 8 in this ball game, Illinois with 4. And we have an interesting change for Indiana. Mike Giommi is going to start the second half for Bobby Knight, the 6'8 sophomore, number 41. He did not play in the first half.
But he can give him some offense, and that's what Bobby Knight needs now. He has to figure out a way to get some points on the board.
Other than that, Robinson will start the second half. Simmons, here's Blopp, partially blocked. Oh, they're tough on the board.
That was Bruce Douglas, and it's great to have guards that can come in from the outside and rebound.
Illinois has led the Big Ten in rebounding all year long. They've averaged about 6.5 more per game.
And not a giant ball club. I mean, you're looking at a team out there that's got nice overall team size, but no real big power on the inside.
Richardson's kind of a pesky guy, isn't he? And Montgomery and Blopp has picked up his third.
Oh, really a cheap one, too. He was just reaching, got caught out of position a little bit, good feed inside.
So both Blopp and Montgomery now are playing with 3 each. Rebounds, that's not surprising. Illinois has led all year long. And even though Indiana won that first game, you can see they out-rebounded them in that one.
Now you have Uwe Blab on Ephraim Winters. Winters very active offensively.
Here's Douglas. Douglas is 6 or 7 of 10 in the first half. Nice follow by Winters.
Just mentioned he's extremely active. Uwe Blab not quite quick enough to stay up with him on the inside.
Lou Henson said that Winters the epitome of a power forward, and that was a power move. Here's Blopp. Montgomery playing tough on end. He's got to be careful. Marty Simmons off the glass.
Now, Uwe Blab came into the game with very few assists, only 13 on the whole year, but that time he was wise in getting the ball out.
34-25, Illinois.
Douglas lost Robinson down in the pack.
He's got 2 inches on Robinson. He's using it.
Well, you don't want to put Alford on him because you don't want him to get in foul trouble and wear down on the defensive end of the court, but Douglas going right over Robinson's head.
Chris Douglas now with 16 points. Here's Giommi. Giommi started a lot of games for this team. He's been one of their leading rebounders.
He's got to put that jump shot up.
He's 6'8", so he's got a little more size in there. Todd Myers also about 6'8", but Giommi long arm.
Look for him to shoot his jump shot, Gary. Giommi's got an opportunity to score. There it is.
Newark, Ohio, and he is on the scoreboard.
That's why he's in the game. He's a guy that can go ahead and put some points on the board.
He didn't even play Wednesday night against Purdue, and that's the way it is with Bobby Knight. You got to wait your time, and you'll be used.
Bobby's starting to creep out on his chair a little bit, getting ready for the second half push.
That's a foul on Giommi. He got a piece of Winters. That's his first. Giommi was Ohio Player of the Year his senior year.
Yeah, play the D, yeah.
You know, Winters, we found out, Billy, has a stick of gum in his left sock. That is a tradition that he has always had, a superstition. Of course, he doesn't chew it before he puts it in there, but he puts it in the wrapper and puts it in his sock.
Don't want to touch that one. I don't know anything about that deal. That's one of those things you play-by-play guys are supposed to know all about.
Now, Bob Fishman, our director, has it. There it is.
Okay, Gary, let's get a little more in-depth research on why he does it.
Well, there's a little superstition.
Well, he's from Chicago. That's a Wrigley town, right? Maybe that's an advertisement. They don't allow any signs in this gymnasium. Maybe that's one way that he goes. That's one way he allows the sign to get in there, and he carries it on his leg.
38-27, Illinois with the lead. Here's Blopp, that sweeping hook. Holmberger the rebound.
Notice how Indiana has not had a second shot opportunity in what seems like this entire game. That's not Bobby Knight's style of basketball. He goes hard on the board.
Well, they have to shoot well just because they're not a good rebounding team. First half, they shot in the 50 percentile. There's a reach in on Giommi. He's picked up 2 in a hurry.
Both teams know how to feed the post very well. And the Winters got a good inside position.
Bobby Knight, who will be coaching our Olympic team in Los Angeles in his 13th year as the head man at Bloomington.
won more conference championships with Sherrod than all the rest of the league put together since he's been at Indiana.
7 of them, of course, 2 national titles. Ooh, that could have been a foul. It was. Robinson reached around.
Indiana picking up some cheap ones now. And what Bobby's saying is start using your head. He's not mad at the official. He's mad at his own players for using their head out there. As you pick up these cheap fouls early in the half, it puts the other team in 1-1 in a hurry.
Billy, that's already the 4th team foul. Now, there's the rebounding situation. Indiana hasn't had those multiple opportunities.
And you can't win if you don't get some offensive rebounds.
4 team fouls. That one against Stu Robinson.
Again, a good screen inside for Douglas. Puts him in excellent shooting.
Boy, is he having a game.
That's a well-conceived offensive move by Lou Henson.
18 points for Bruce Douglas. Biggest lead of the game now, 40-27.
There's the man-to-man. Both teams playing straight man-to-man.
Beautiful pass to Simmons, and he had it partially blocked by Montgomery.
And again, no second shot opportunity. Simmons hurt his leg a little bit. Nobody on. He's not on his man. Luckily, he gets back down court in time. His leg's cut a little bit.
It is amazing that Illinois is such a good rebounding team. They're not that big, and there will be another foul. Giome's third.
Now, Bobby Knight went for a trade-off. Giomi not as good a defensive player as Meyer, but he needed to get some points on the board. But the minute he put Giomi in the game, Illinois went right to Ephraim Winters, and he created 3 foul opportunities in a row on Giomi, and he's going to the line.
He sits down, as does Marty Simmons. So Todd Meyer and Darryl Thomas come in for Indiana.
Now, Bobby making every move possible to try to get the club back going, but he's got a multiple problem. When he puts his scorers in the game, they can't defend. When he's got his defensive guys in the game, he doesn't have enough scoring punch.
2 shots now for Winters. Winters started slowly, but now being much more effective player.
You know what I like about Ephraim Winters, Gary? He is a scorer, but yet he knows how to be patient and not try to take it to the game. He lets the game come to him. Therefore, he gets good percentage shots.
Lou Henson said he could do it all.
And with Illinois going to that foul line, they have not committed a foul yet in this half. So Indiana 2 away from being in the 1-on-1. Illinois doesn't have their first foul.
Winters with 10 points. The Hoosiers need a basket. 16 minutes to go, and they trail 42-27.
All right, Richardson all over Alford.
But that'll be a foul on Douglas.
Good call.
Douglas leads the conference in that department in that game against Purdue a week ago yesterday. He had 8. He's had 2 games with 8 steals.
That was a good call, Gary. He hit him with his body.
42-27, the Illini. Wisconsin and at Minnesota. That Minnesota game will be on CBS. Illinois is at Minnesota. They play at home against Wisconsin, who played them tough the first time around. Indiana has only 1 game left. That's at home against Ohio State. Let's go back on that Bruce Douglas steal attempt.
Well, Gary, contact is not necessarily a foul in basketball, but when you make contact and gain an advantage, as was the case right there, that's a foul. Now, I'm going to ask you something here, and I hope Ed Stites is watching this game. How about in regard to a violation like walking? Suppose you walk, but you don't gain an advantage. Then why is it a violation?
We had that in yesterday's game, remember?
Yep, they can think about that a while.
Flop, nice fake by Upe. He can't get the shot in.
What a block by Ephraim Winters coming from the weak side.
Montgomery and Winters, they kind of, I think, begrudgingly think that's their area. Just stay out of there. They are tough, physical players.
In the passing game of Illinois, they really don't set any illegal screens, but their men do an excellent job using the screen to come back out and get the ball, particularly the guards like Douglas and Richardson.
Illinois coming in here 21-4. They lost to Kentucky, to Indiana, Purdue, and Michigan.
Here's a mismatch now. You got Thomas on Douglas. If they can get the ball back to Douglas, he should be quick enough to get off the shot.
Come on.
Here he is. See if he takes it.
I don't have to be in any hurry. 14:53 left in the game.
They're setting their inside screens. They'll eventually get a shot for Douglas here because Thomas is going to have a problem staying with him one-on-one.
And away from the ball, a foul on Stu Robinson. Let's go back to that block by Ephraim Winters.
Well, Winters is not on block, but what both teams do so well is to help out from the weak side. Montgomery on block, gets faked out of position, but here's Winters coming over 24, gets a beautiful defensive block there as a piece of the ball, and look at Altenberger coming over from the weak side for the rebound.
Coming in is Mentz, Scott Mentz. Montgomery will lead. Team fouls now. Indiana has 6, Illinois 1. This is Chuck Franz, number 23, the only senior on the Indiana team. And this game from Fayetteville, Houston, who already has clinched the Southwest Conference, leading Arkansas.
But Gary, they've got that undefeated streak going, and if they'd have beat Arkansas at Arkansas, that'd be tremendous. Go through 2 full seasons undefeated in any major league.
That'd be their 40th straight Southwest Conference play. Here is Douglas.
There's what I said would happen. Thomas not quick enough to stay with Douglas. He got caught behind the screen. Douglas comes out and hits the jump shot.
20 points for Douglas. Illinois, so impressive. Alford, he has not been shooting that much.
Alford's like Hall, Jeff Hall from Louisville. They should only count him when they go straight on in.
I understand George Montgomery went to the locker room.
Yeah, he looked like he hurt his hip.
He went out and Mentz replaced him. Back door, Douglas.
No excuse for that. You're getting a guard that goes back door, and with Bobby Knight's type defense, the weak side man should have picked that pass off.
Boy, Bruce Douglas is doing it all today.
Well, what's interesting, both of these teams play so similar, it's just that Illinois executes better than Indiana.
Douglas with the rebound. They are just dominating the board.
Indiana hadn't gotten a second shot all day.
Richardson and Alford got a piece of it.
No question today, Bruce getting the upper hand of this ball game. Tough place to win under any circumstances. And you know what, Gary? You cover football and you cover basketball. But if Illinois were to win this game, it's going to be the first time in the 88-year history of the Big Ten that any team has beaten every other team in the Big Ten in both football and basketball in the same year.
Football team was 9-0 in conference play and, of course, went to the Rose Bowl. Did you stay up all night finding that information?
I do all this reading. I never know when it's going to get in. But I still didn't know what happened about Ephraim Winters' socks.
Here is Richardson at the line. 48-29.
Now, France in the ball game again. A guy that could give him some scoring punch.
Well, he had a super game against them the first game. He hit 7 of 7 for the field. Here he is.
Lob didn't have a handle on that ball and still made his shot.
Shooting it against Scott Mentz. 9 points for Uwe.
What you like about Illinois right here also is the fact that they are not letting up. You know, they're not looking like they want to put the ball in the crease at all. Staying right with their offense.
Richardson's only about 5'10". They list him around 5'11". He has been that 5th part of the machine that they needed this year after losing Derek Harper to the pros.
Running that offense. Passing game, setting screens down inside. 2 really well-drilled clubs.
There's your time. Inside 12.5 minutes.
Lou Henson has won more games than any coach in the Big Ten. In terms of his overall wins and loss, over 400 wins now. 3 different schools.
Hardin Simmons, New Mexico State, and here.
Right. Took New Mexico State to the NCAA playoff Final Four.
There's a foul on Thomas.
And they take this team to the Final Four. They're that well drilled.
Well, Illinois started out this season. They won their first 8, and they lost at home. The only game they've lost at home this year, and that was to Kentucky.
2-pointer. When you take away, you know, the 4 overtime games they've played, their losses have been so close in and out of the conference that loss to Kentucky, and nobody's been able to put them away.
This guy at the line is a strong candidate for our MVP honors. He has 23 points. We saw Illinois in the tournament last year. They went out to the West region and lost to Utah. Did not play very well in that, but boy, they're so much better right now.
They really didn't, but this is a much, much better team. Plays much better defense. You got to remember, the guys were freshmen last year.
Alford, He's hit 2 from that spot.
And Douglas is complaining his own man picked him off a little bit. About the only thing he's done wrong all day. Alford picking up a lot higher now on Richardson.
3 teams from the Big Ten. They'll be in NCAA tourney play. 2 of them here, and the other one Purdue. Purdue, just an amazing story this year. Gene Cady still in the tie for the championship.
Oh, good play.
Illinois wins this one.
Nice play by Blob. Look for Alford to pull up and take the jump shot.
Franz a little reluctant. He just killed this Illinois team in that first game in Bloomington.
1 dribble too many by Meyer. Everybody a little hesitant to put up the shot, as you pointed out, Gary, except for Alford. There's the shot. You got to take it.
Franz did not miss from the field in that first game. There's good support inside. Blob can't hang on. He saved it, but he was out of bounds.
Uwe Blob on number 4 time today that he's not been able to catch a pass. It's right on his hand.
That's 10 turnovers against Indiana, and they're horrified by this team. A little puzzled by him, and this sequence will kind of show you a little of that.
Well, this will typify it, Gary. There's Uwe Blob with a great block, showing good hands down the defensive end of the court. Now watch this one right here. Pass on inside from Alford to Blob. Whoops, I'm sorry. Right through, and he was trying to catch it with 2 hands. Ball went right through and out of bounds.
Frustrating for Bobby Knight. His team trailing 50-33. 10:59 left in the game.
Indiana picking up much more full court now. They know they've got to start turning the ball over some.
Franz staying with Douglas, and Douglas has had a remarkable day. 24 points, tying his career high, which he had the last time out in that win over Ohio State.
You got Altenberger and Robinson now. Watch Altenberger go to the boards for some offensive rebounds in this lineup.
Douglas going for that career high. Meyer, and it's off of Indiana. There's Montgomery. He went to the locker room. He has returned.
Well, 10 minutes to go in the game, you'd figure he'd be back in there because, oh, an easy pass. Everybody fell asleep.
And from Winters.
Well, how often that happens? You see teams defensively fall asleep and the ball gets thrown right in bounds. Easy 2 points.
Winters with 12 points. That's the spot that Alford's hit 2 from. Flop. Steve will try another one. 3 for 3 from there, and a foul inside. It's on Mintz.
One of the things that you can't afford to do when you're playing against a Steve Alford, when he throws the ball into the post, if you turn your head to go back to help out inside, and the ball comes back out, you give him a wide open jump shot.
That basket will count. The foul occurring after the play, after the shot.
There are certain players that are great pure shooters. You cannot afford to turn your head on them because they'll go ahead and hit that jumper every time on the pass back out.
Alford with 14 points.
He's the only guy looking for a shot, though, Gary.
Douglas this time jumps out on him. Oh, he's in trouble there. Nice pass to Meyer. And that's going to be off of Indiana's block.
Indiana today does not have 1 offensive rebound on the inside in his second half. Not 1.
Well, let's see. The last we had was what? 7-0. 7-0. That shows you how effective Illinois is and why they've led the Big Ten all year.
So well drilled in their blockout situation. There's Winters again with the ball above his head. If he'd sit down and hold that ball low, he'd cause some real problems for Meyer.
Winters again.
There's Altenberger with the offensive rebound.
Flop with the block. Another block. Good job by Uwe Block. Franz and a reach in. Did you see Altenberger dive for that? Now that is characteristic of his play.
He was ready for that dive from half court. He chased him all the way down. Watch this. The shot goes up by Ephraim Winters. He got hit on the elbow on that shot, but Altenberger, who's got Robinson on him, you know he's going in to get some rebounds. Mintz puts it up. Good block on the inside by Block.
And we have
Indiana losing the ball out of bounds.
another turnover. But what was significant about that was down the floor then, Doug Altenberger dived from behind and got a hand on the ball. And now Bobby Knight's instructions emphatically is departed to Alford.
What's happening to Alford? Just being a freshman out there, he's trying to take the game over by himself. And that's very difficult to do against a good ball club like this, but you can't fault him for trying. He's certainly going to be a great one. And don't be surprised if he's not on an Olympic team.
We were talking about that last night, a guy that could run Bobby's offense in the Olympics. Bruce Douglas, though, has helped his situation if he wants to be on that Olympic team. Altenberger.
Doesn't show up so big on the stats, but he's been a solid player for him throughout the entire year.
10 points for Doug. 54-35. Stu Robinson.
Look at Richardson move those feet defensively.
Robinson's just not getting those shots. They saw that Purdue game when he was just nailing everything. Here he goes. Boy, they just own the backboard. Winters impressively with that rebound.
One of the things I think is hurting Indiana on offensive rebounding, Gary, is not many guys are looking for the shot. And if you're not looking for the shot, other people don't know when to anticipate to go in for the rebound.
Altenberger again.
And it's over. It looks like it's going to be Purdue and Illinois.
Just listen to this crowd. Just listen to this crowd. That'll quiet him a little bit.
Ube hit 2 straight jumpers.
11 points for the 7'2" center. 56-37. I don't know if he can pressure Douglas.
He handles the ball well, uses his body well. There's a reach in by Alford.
Boy, Bobby says, get over here. I want to talk to you, and Alford will go over.
You shake your head and bitch, you.
Now, what Bobby said, and I'll tell you exactly what he said. He wants his player to concentrate, move his feet, and play solid defense. He said, if you turn and shake your head and start griping at the official, you'll never play another game here.
Arkansas, who lost earlier to Houston, leading that ball game in Fayetteville.
And another offensive rebound for Illinois.
You know what that is in the second half? It's now 10-0 in offensive rebounds in favor of Illinois. And for the game, it's 24-8.
Amazing. Good pass.
That's impressive.
Story of the game.
Basket will not count. We have a foul inside against Montgomery.
That's number 4, banging off on Uwe Blah. But, Gary, that was the story of the game. Ephraim Winters.
Let's look at it again.
Putting a half above the rim. Richardson shooting up his jumper. And here comes Ephraim Winters. Boy, he was in the air.
PBS's coverage of NCAA basketball will continue after this word from your local station. Metro Conference Tourney Championship coming your way. That's followed at 4 o'clock Eastern by UCLA at Oregon State. And then Sunday, 12 o'clock Eastern, an NCAA special, a preview of the teams entering this year's NCAA tourney, followed by at 1 o'clock Purdue at Minnesota. And then at 5:30, the announcement of the pairings for the NCAA tourney as we start on the road to Seattle. I'll be in Kansas City with Dave Gavitt and the tournament committee, and Billy will be in New York with Brent Musburger. And that might be the storyline of this afternoon.
Was that on a red sweater or an orange sweater? I couldn't tell what that was supposed to be, a positive or a negative sign.
We're going to end a long drought. It's been 7 games since Illinois has been able to defeat Indiana. Todd Meyer. There's one of the few rebounds that they've had offensively.
That's the very first one. And what created the rebound is the fact that Todd Meyer put up a positive shot. So Uwe Blah was in good position to rebound it.
That's the stat that has got to really drive Bobby Knight bananas to be that far behind in the rebounding. You expect maybe to get beat, but not so dramatically, so emphatically.
So many fellas were not going to put up the jump shot, so nobody could get in position to rebound.
You see the time left? 58-39, Illinois. Winters just playing with such confidence.
You're talking about an All-American performer right there in Ephraim Winters. Probably as highly respected high school recruit as there was in the country, coming out of the Chicago area and doing a job here.
Nice change of shot. Lop with 15. Winters has 16 points, 12 of them in the second half. You were mentioning about him. Many people thought he's one of the top 5 players ever to come out of Chicago.
Get open! Get open!
Talking about Ephraim Winters. Douglas.
These two fellas putting on a show. Douglas, Mr. Illinois basketball, played with Payne, that's now up at Iowa. In high school, they had one of the great high school teams in the country, if not the best high school team in the country, while they were together.
That basket gave Douglas a career high in points for a single game as Montgomery comes down to the rebound. A one shot again.
Another good thing you got to like about Illinois in the NCAA playoffs, Gary, a very difficult team to press because they handle the ball well.
Douglas ran into some difficulty. Franz comes out of there. Blopp, boy, Blopp hasn't given up, has he? He's fouled. The foul will go on Winters.
So when you put up positive shots, Uwe Blopp's down on the inside. Everybody trying to get in front of him, so he's in position to rebound. And he is a powerful guy.
I think it says something about Uwe, that he hasn't quit in this game, that he's continued to hang in there. Dokic is now going to come in for Indiana. He started the ball game. This will be his first play in the second half. Alford will sit down. Now Blopp has 17 points, 10 of them this half.
We're back to that first half air ball chant, but he hadn't put up any air balls since, and there's Douglas with another rebound.
He gets my vote for the MVP.
More than doubled Indiana off the boards this year, this game.
4:45 left.
Somebody without a man. Richardson wide open right now.
Who would have thought that this Illinois team, after losing Gary Carper and Anthony Welch, an outstanding 6'9" forward, would be winning their 22nd game, which, by the way, will tie the school record for most wins in a year.
Sometimes, Gary, teams pull together the right mechanics, right mechanism for your ball club. When you lose people, maybe they wouldn't have blended so well if those players were available.
This is Courtney Whitty, the junior from Vincennes, Indiana, the only junior college player Bobby has ever had at Indiana coming into the ball game.
Richardson sits down, nice backdoor cut.
And that'll be backcourt. Sports Sunday following America's Downhill. Phil Johnson, the gold medal winner, will be performing in Aspen, Colorado, and the Phoenix International 10K, along with World Sprint Speed Skating Championships from Norway. Push off. He's going to go against Douglas.
Well, Dawkins got away with one there. He went into the middle of the pack, had no idea what he was going to do with it. Unfortunately, got fouled.
Douglas is his third personal.
But Gary, one of the things may help Big Ten teams is with no clock, when you go into NCAA play, that'll also be in play there.
To a co-championship in the Metro with Memphis State in the #1 seed. North Carolina finished unbeaten in ACC play.
Well, Mike Krzyzewski had a chance with Danny Mahar on the line and a 1-point lead, 1-1 with 8-9 seconds to go. North Carolina wins in a double overtime.
Saw UCLA. We think they're on the fence. They won. They beat Washington State back-to-back.
Oregon State won 29-23, beating Oregon in a ball game.
Washington and Oregon State are tied with identical records, not only in conference play, but for the year. They're both 20-6.
There's a zone defense for the first time by Illinois today, figuring they're going to go ahead and make Indiana put it up from the outside and take some time off the clock.
The turnover, the 11th against Illinois, as we approach 3.5 minutes to go. Foul on Franz.
Indiana is really buried teams. When they get in this situation, they go ahead and patiently hang on to the ball and then go to the foul line with a tremendous free throw shooting team. Illinois, they've also gone to a multi-guard offensive situation when they get in this kind of position.
Billy, if Illinois wins the rest of their conference games, as does Purdue, they'd be in a co-championship, but Illinois would get the #1 seed because they have the better record overall.
Well, Gary, I'm going to argue about that one a little bit. See, no matter who is the champion or co-champion of this league, the NCAA, or any league, the NCAA Tournament Committee has the right to decide who they think is the best team and seed them in the NCAA Tournament.
But the Big Ten has said that they will have the top seed.
Well, they might, but they don't have the right to tell the NCAA Tournament Committee who gets it. Nice pass.
Boy, nice catch. Winters blocked it.
Gary, I'll give you an example. North Carolina, maybe the #1 seed in the East, all right? They get upset in the ACC tournament by Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech would not be the #1 seed in the East.
That We're talking about a tournament as opposed to the whole season where you don't have it to decide the issue. And there's a foul on Montgomery, and he's fouled out. The man they call Big George had himself a game today.
Well, he didn't statistically have a big game, but occupied so much on the inside and created the blockouts, good screens for his teammates. He's got to be very happy with that performance.
He started 9 games last year. Ryan Leonard was their starting center. This year he has occupied the middle, and he's made people feel his presence.
You know what both Illinois and Purdue have to be careful about now, Gary, is that they have no time to celebrate. They still have to play some more people before this season's over. And in the Big Ten, no game is easy.
Illinois has to go to Minnesota Thursday. They're at home against Wisconsin on Saturday. Dockage. 3 minutes left in the game.
Now, if you have a lot of time, it's early in the game, you can afford to look for passes, but here they got to go for scoring.
Altenberger overshoots it, but Douglas is one of those patented steals of his.
Well, Altenberger just lost the handle on the pass.
Winters almost drawing the charge off of Dockage.
Somebody's got to put up a shot.
That was an effective shot from outside. A new man is in. Tony Weisinger, number 10. There he is with the ball now for Illinois.
That should be goal.
That is. Douglas will be awarded the 2 points.
Went in anyway.
28 points for Bruce Douglas. Well, after losing 3 in a row to Indiana here in Assembly Hall, they salved a few wounds here.
Douglas going out, and you talk about a well-deserved round of applause. Lucy high ace, huh?
A sophomore. 28 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Douglas giving them a little offense down the stretch.
Now, with Indiana press on full court like this, Illinois can bust on through and get some easy baskets.
Weisinger is only 5'10". He's out of the Peoria area also. A freshman. He's quick. That'll be kicked. Held inbounds on the side.
Earlier in the season, Illinois used 4 guards against Vandy when they put Douglas, Altenberger, Richardson, and Weisinger in a game at the same time. You can imagine trying to press that squad.
There's another CBS game from Barnhill Arena in Fayetteville, and Arkansas looks like they may end that Houston string in Southwest Conference play.
Tough place to win, and Gary, you were saying all week that may be one of the tough games of the year for anybody to try to win down at Barnhill.
The reason that was so important, they won last weekend in Houston.
That's right. And that Rice loss that Arkansas had is what made that game less important today.
That was the weekend Arkansas lost to Rice, then went to Villanova and lost there. That was a double loss, but the Rice game, they may have looked past him for Villanova. There's Giolmi picking up his 4th foul.
Well, kind of out of his league there with Giolmi trying to handle Weisinger. And Lou Henson going to that bench and giving some well-deserved hands for a number of players. This is Winters' turn.
Don Klusendorf comes in for Winters. I want to thank the people we're working with today. Our producer, Rick Sharp, our director, Bob Fishman, who's back from the Daytona 500. Associate producer, Bob Matina. 16 points in the game for Winters as he leaves. He also had 6 rebounds. Reach in by Weisinger.
Oh, look at
Altenberger just volleyballed it ahead. That's the kind of effort he has.
You gotta love a player like that. He just goes to the floor, gives up his body.
Billy, they seem to have everyone playing an integral part. They have different personalities, different abilities.
Well, they give up everything. Watch Altenberger. He's just going to dive for the ball here. Right flat out on the floor. Down to Weisinger, who shows his good speed and lays it up. The team effort, total team effort by Illinois today.
Altenberger leads the game with 14 points. Whitty misses. Tom Schaefer tried to chase it down, and he'll go out of bounds. Also in the ball game now for the first time is Reggie Woodward, number 35, a sophomore from the Chicago area. There's Altenberger. He is...
Gary, we've done a lot of games this year, but we haven't seen anybody put it out on the line like Illinois has today in terms of effort.
That'll be a traveling call on Woodward. Ending some frustration here, and Illinois will pull into a tie with Purdue. Both teams with 2 games remaining. And we have more substitutions coming in as Mintz will check out of the game. Schaefer will lead the ball game.
You know, last year, Gary, the Big Ten had 5 teams in the NCAA tournament. They'll probably go 3 deep this year with 2 we see right here plus Purdue. But not quite as much depth in the Big Ten, but they've got tremendous depth in terms of underclassmen. 19 of the 25 top scorers in the league this year are all underclassmen, so it's going to be quite a league in years to come.
There's Klusendorf. And Dockage.
Well, mop-up time.
Indiana would like to win a week from yesterday. They'd like to have a 20-win season as they'll play Ohio State at home. Their only regular season game left. On the other hand, this will be the 22nd win for Illinois, and this will be the 4th time that the school has accomplished that. They've never had more, but looks like they're going to go over it before this season's over.
Well, I guess the great period for Illinois basketball when they had the whiz kids. Back before the war, people always talk about the war. They're talking about World War II with Andy Phillip. The Whiz Kids were really a two-tiered group. Andy Phillip played with a group before the war called the Whiz Kids, and then came back after the war and was a member of the Whiz Kids.
And they had those outstanding teams in 51 and 52. 1980, they won 22 games.
Looking through their brochure, I didn't realize that Lou Boudreau, the great baseball player, was also an All-American basketball player. Back in those days, a lot of two-sport guys.
Oh, look at this by Weisinger. 10 seconds to go, and they're celebrating here in Champaign, as well they should. This is a big win for Lou Henson and the Illini.
How do you pick a coach of the year in the Big Ten, huh? Gene Cady, Lou Henson?
Okay, the Chevrolet most valuable players of the game for Illinois, certainly no surprise. Bruce Douglas, 28 points, a career high, and for Indiana, Steve Alford with 14 points, and a check in the amount of $1,000 will be donated by Chevrolet to each college's general scholarship fund to further assist qualified students in all chosen academic fields. Illinois is tied for first in the Big Ten with Purdue, 70-53. They've won it here at Assembly Hall. Now let's go to New York. Here's Brent Musburger.
All right, Gary, not often you see Bobby Knight drill like that in a big game. We're going to send you out to the conclusion of the Arkansas game.
Illinois beats all their football opponents in the Big Ten and all their basketball opponents.
Quite a year.
Pretty amazing, Kent. Greetings, everyone. 10th-ranked Illinois all but eliminated Indiana from the Big Ten basketball race this afternoon in Champaign. Bruce Douglas's career-high 28 points for the Illini made it a long day for Hoosier coach Bobby Knight. He hits there, and there is Bobby. Douglas hits again from 15 feet, making the score 26-14, and Illinois led by 9.5. Steve Alford tried to keep Indiana close in the second half, but Douglas was just too tough, as this basket puts Illinois up by 19 points. Then a defensive lapse by Indiana on the inbounds, and it is lights out for the Hoosiers. IU didn't quit, however. Uwe Blop slams home 2 of his team-leading 17 points, but U of I simply runs past the Hoosiers. Weisinger wins this race for 2 more points, and it's the Illini by 17 and a share of first place with Purdue. Turning to the
first place tie with Purdue, so they're in position to strike now. We got 2 more games coming up. Today there were 3 things that made the Fighting Illini winners over Indiana: discipline, Douglas, and defense. And for all of you critics of Lou Henson, you can eat your bumper stickers because good coaching produced an almost flawless game.
Leading the way toward near perfection was Bruce Douglas, who saw the weakness in the Hoosier jam-up underneath defense and bombarded Indiana from the outside. He gave the Illini an early 6-point lead at 10-4. The home team never trailed. Right from the start, Ephraim Winters and George Montgomery established control over the boards on both ends. So dominant was Illinois that Indiana could not get off a second shot and grabbed only 8 offensive rebounds in the first half. Steve Alford was a bright spot for Indiana, hitting when he could get open. But look at the job Doug Altenberger does on him, preventing any baseline play. By the time Douglas pumped in his 7th field goal, the Illini held a 30-19 advantage. Uwe Blob gets his hook shot on the track, but at intermission, his team is looking at a scoreboard that reads 32-23 Illini. Second half, Douglas continues his assault on the scoreboard, while Winters holds down Blob with a block from behind. Everything goes for the Illini. Quinn Richardson finds Douglas on a backdoor play. The Quincy Star makes it look easy as the Illini go up 46-29. Talk about giving your all. Altenberger halts a certain layup by diving at the ball and then dusts himself off to pop 2 straight buckets on the other end. Winters gets what Indiana can't, a second chance. Illinois leads 10-0 in offensive rebounds when Efren tips and slams this one. It's 58-37. Blob gets the first offensive rebound of the half and slams it home. He tried in vain to bring Indiana back, but Douglas would have nothing of it. His 28 points allowed Illinois to coast to a 70-53 victory.
Credit for today's win. Well, Bruce Douglas gets a lot, but Bruce stressed teamwork, and even Bobby Knight paid tribute to the Illini system.
This was a game where I think they just took the thing right away from us in the beginning and really maintained it well, probably as well as a team could.
We used our advantages and played just a great team game. It was I scored a lot of points and did a lot, but it was just a great team effort.
And we were really sharp. We rebounded well. We played good defense, and offensively we clicked. And when those 3 things happened to our ball club, we played very well this year.
You lose and you get beat, and we've lost a couple of games, and we just flat got beat today.
3 other games featuring top 20 teams, most prominent, of course, the upset by Arkansas over